welcome back. I hope you're doing well. Today or sometime within the next few days, I'm going to be bringing you all along on my adventure in resewing my panniers for my Robe Française. That rhymed, but as many of you know, I started working on this I think back in 2020. I don't really remember, and I have since kind of stopped working on it, and very recently started getting back into working on it, and I ran into a problem with the panniers. Now, what are panniers? For people that have no idea what the heck I'm talking about, panier, well, it's a word in French for basket, but essentially panniers are part of the undergarments that are underneath a robe à la Française to give it that wide effect at the hips that we are all very familiar with when we look at these type of dresses from the 18th century. If they are not sewn correctly or they're not tied around the waist correctly, it does not do anything at all whatsoever for the outer garment or the dress part of the robe à la Française. Essentially, it looks like it just hangs and is kind of like a sack, like nothing exciting happening. So I recently have been doing fittings for my in progress dress that I'm making, and I ran into a problem with my panniers. They're not exactly sewn correctly. So essentially what I'm going to be doing is completely redoing my pannier because cats, am I right? I'm going to be redoing my pannier because when I sewed them for the first time, I actually was basing them off of a video that I watched. Essentially, I don't think I did it very well when I first did it, so that caught up with me, and now here we are. So this time around, I am going to be using my American Duchess 18th century dressmaking book. Ooh. To help me with this process. I actually have the pattern for these. I bought the pattern for their stays, which essentially is this part of the garment, if you can see that. That's a pair of stays, and then here are the panniers. I actually bought the pattern at the fabric store for the stays at the time, and also the shift that she's wearing underneath all of that. So I'm gonna use their pannier pattern, and by the end of this video, you guys will see a nice set of pannier. Hopefully. I'm crossing all my fingers and my toes, but you can't see those, so let's do it. So I just actually went through this bag of my tissue pattern paper to pull out the pattern pieces for the panniers, and they weren't in there. Hi. I even took some time to iron out my tissue pieces because they were kind of like just all stuffed in there. And yeah, it wasn't in there. So I'm gonna look around a little bit and see if I can find them. It's possible that I might have just kind of grouped them with something else. I don't know, but we're gonna find out. And if not, I am going to use my book, the American Duchess dressmaking book. I'm kind of holding off from using the book because I will need to actually like draw out the pattern. I'll need to size it up, and I'll be honest, I'm not particularly, I've never done that before, and I just want this to be an easy process. And yeah, so I'm gonna look around. Hopefully I can find the tissue paper pattern and I'll be able to use that versus trying to figure out what the heck I need to do from the book. So we're gonna see. Wish me luck. I found panniers. So I'm gonna actually stop here, but I wanted to show you where I'm at or when we started, or I don't know what I'm trying to say, but I wanted to show you where I'm at with these panniers, my pannier redo. So here's the one of the panels that I've done. So this is what the fabric is. So this is the fabric that I'm using. It's a little more stiff than say like a cotton linen. I don't know exactly what kind of fabric this is, but it is pretty like sturdy, no stretch. So I'm hoping that sort of helps in holding up my dress. Anyway, so here's what it looks like opened up. You can see this could make a really cute skirt actually. I should turn this into a pattern. So here's the opening for a pocket. Yes, even in the 18th century, women had pockets for their dresses. It's a little more complicated than that, as in pockets were actually a separate piece that went under the dress. So for example, they're a piece that sort of looks like this with an opening and it ties around underneath, but most of the dresses did have holes sewn in them like this, so that women could access pockets. So can't go without pockets. So I'm proud of myself. It's coming along pretty well. I've got quite a bit to do on this, and also my pleats were coming out, so I had to actually re-pin my pleats. So I did what's called a basting stitch. I've had to pin those because my basting stitch isn't good enough, and my pleats, as you can see, are coming out. Anyway, so yeah, I'm gonna call it here for the day because my back hurts and I want to just go relax and do something else. So I'll see you guys tomorrow for day 2. Good morning, good morning, good morning everybody. So it's day 2. We are gonna be working on the panier, finishing them today. Hopefully sooner than later because I want to do some working out this afternoon. Do I though? So yeah, so today we just gotta finish them. We're basically almost there, and yeah, I'm excited to jump into it. So let's get sewing. All right, so essentially what we're doing today is just kind of finishing the panniers, adding our boning channels, and adding the ties, all that stuff. I was just looking at the directions, and it says here that I need to, on the outside, place a piece of twill tape, which we've established yesterday that I don't have. So I'm going to be using recycled ribbon from my other panniers and any other ribbon that I do have as my boning channels, Lord willing. And I was just noticing that on the directions, I don't know if you guys can see at all, there's like a darker, it's darker, and then some of the pieces are lighter. I was assuming that the lighter parts were actually the outside, but on this direction here it says outside. So I'm gonna consult this book and we're gonna take a look and see what I need to do, because yeah, they're on the outside. So maybe that's been part of my problem to begin with. I'm learning. I'm not gonna say I'm inexperienced. I mean, that is kind of true, but I don't want to say that because I think inexperience is just an opportunity to learn. So I'm learning. I'm learning to be a better seamstress. It's all a part of the plan. But yeah. Anyway. Alright you guys, so it's getting dark here and I haven't yet finished the panniers. I just, as you guys saw, pinned and pressed the outside hems inward, and what is left to do, I need to add the ties and then the waistband. So essentially it's going to take me one more day to do it. I would have been done today, but whenever I'm not in the like office and bedroom area, Basil tends to like to be with me a lot, but it also takes her time to kind of like wind down and go into like relax mode unless I'm physically in that part of the apartment. After lunch I came back in here to do some things, and then she's like started kind of getting like going after Lola, so I played with her a little bit, and then she still was going after Lola, so we do time out with them if they're not getting the message or they've already played and that kind of thing. So I took time to be with her in the bedroom and just like relax with the door closed, kind of get her settled down. So that took, I watched an episode of Peaky Blinders, so still not done. And quite frankly, I don't know that I will finish filming it. And I wanted to quickly talk about my fabric choice. I do my best whenever I'm sewing these garments to try to be as historically accurate as possible, especially with the type of material I'm using. And I will say that my choice of material and pattern is not at all historically accurate for the 18th century. I'm using a freaking sewing machine, so that's not necessarily historically accurate anyway, but that's besides the point. I am using this material because it's what I have on hand. In regards to the fabric, if you are sewing historical clothing, a lot of people will try to be as historically accurate as possible. But I want to say that in my opinion at least, I think for undergarments, I think that it's okay to use material and patterns that aren't necessarily from or would necessarily be from that time period. I think it's better to try to sew it in a way that it's going to last and it's going to hold. I think more so outside matters. I try my best to be as historically accurate as possible, but with a pair of panniers, I don't care. It's fine. You know, a lot of what I do, I use things that I have on hand, and I try to recycle material from things that maybe I'm not gonna wear or I know I'm not gonna wear, but yeah. Thank you guys so much for watching the vlog. I really appreciate you all hanging out with me while I sewed. I am gonna do another sewing video here soon. This is not that type of vlog channel, though it is part of my projects that I like doing, so who knows, we'll see. And yeah, if you like the video, please give me a thumbs up and subscribe to the channel. I really appreciate it, but more importantly, if you made it this far, please in the comments let me know what are some projects that you're working on. Let me know what's most recent, and leave a comment that says I am very excited for spring. I'll see you guys next time. I love you. Bye everybody.